New segment on the show. This is really creative of me. I'm very proud of this. I'm sure of all the talk shows across the world now, no one ever has thought of this. We're going to play a game called More or Less. And here's the way we're going to do it. I'm going to start with these two, and I'm going to give you your own special question. Jimmy and Bob, the question is, are you more confident in Nico Iamaleava or less confident in UT secondary? More confident in Nico, less confident in the DBs.
Go ahead, Bob.
I will go that I'm confident in Nico.
You're more confident than you are less confident. Okay.
No. I was about to say, even though I'm confident in Nico,
Okay.
I think the secondary could be a crater.
Okay.
Everybody hated the secondary last year. They couldn't stand those guys. They're terrible. And these guys couldn't beat them out. The ones that were on the roster could not jump over them. So,
But you brought in a kid from MTSU.
and boy, oh boy, let's go hang our hats on that one. So I am less confident in the secondary. I'm confident in Nico, but I just think the secondary has a chance to be awful.
Yeah, okay. So less confidence in the secondary. Jimmy Himes.
I'm kind of reminded when I think of this with the secondary of a great quote from Bobby Johnson, who's a former Vanderbilt coach. He was at a SEC football media days, and he said, the good news is we've got 20 starters coming back. The bad news is we got 20 starters coming back from a 1-11 team. I think the secondary is in flux, just question marks. I think some of these junior college players transfer portal players are pretty good. But I am really confident in Nico. So I'm going to go Nico.
Wow.
I think he's going to have a terrific year. I think he's surrounded by really good skill position people. A little concerned about the depth at running back. Now, I'm not on board with one projection I saw where he's fifth in the Heisman Trophy race at 15-1 odds. I'm not that confident in him.
Bit much for a guy we've seen play one game.
Yeah, but I think this is an offense that'll go from averaging less than 32 points to close to 40. It won't be what it was in 2022, but I think he's that good. So I'm more confident in Nico.
Okay, so we got one that was less confident, one that was more confident. Very
See
good.
what that does to your poll.
Let's see how this works. Let's see how this works. I've got a question for Paige and Tyler, and your question is, more confident in the defensive line or less confident in the offensive line?
Ladies first.
I want to say I'm more confident in the defensive line. I think they have a ton of returning talent coming back. You even hear Tim Banks talking all the time that he is the most confident he's been in that unit. He thinks it could be the best line in the country.
Yeah.
I love having Amari Thomas coming back. That's great leadership that they have there. And then you look at, of course, James Pierce Jr. on the edge. Just maybe going to be a top 5, maybe even the top 1 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. And he had a great season last year, ending on a high. You talked about that start for Nico. James Pierce had, 1.5 sacks, and of course that pick 6 against what was supposed to be a really good Iowa team,
Yeah,
but
right.
Tennessee did a good job of dismantling them on both fronts.
All right, I'll play contrarian. Less in the offensive line because if your name's not Cooper Mays,
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in you. Andre Keurig, John Campbell Jr. But remember, John Campbell Jr. took the Virginia player and ran him into the sidelines.
Yeah,
The
and
last
actually
highlight
put
of the
him
year.
in.
John
They
Campbell
actually
Jr.
put him in to Reese, who works here
That's
at
right.
Channel 6.
John Campbell Jr. didn't do much after that, though.
What about Spraggins?
Javonte Spraggins, who I believe NFL scouts love him when he's healthy.
Yeah,
When he's healthy.
sure.
So,
Question mark.
question marks. I think the defensive line's going to have a great year. I've been the guy who's rah-rah the 10-2 season right after that win against Iowa. If Cooper Mays misses any time, I'm talking a game or close to the significant time that he missed last year, up in smoke. Season's over.
Because you don't have an Ollie Lane that can really switch up and down that
100%.
line, that plug-and-play kind of player.
All right, so both of you split, which I'm going to be the deciding factor then, and anybody who watches this show knows I'm going to go negative. So I'm confident in Nico as well. It's just he's a first year. I don't know anything about the secondary, so I'm going to be less confident in the secondary. In terms of the defensive line, I feel good about it. But again, I saw what happened when Cooper Mays went out last year. That offense slowed down. Part of that was on the quarterback, too.
Correct.
But they slowed that thing down. So if anything happens to Cooper Mays, it's a huge question mark. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the negatives just barely on both sides. So, Paige, Jimmy, you're losers. Okay.
Oh, great.
Welcome to the show. When we come back, we'll tell you what Cooper Mays told Jimmy Himes about Josh Heupel, and we'll see if you agree or not. Come on back on the Sports Source.